let's jump into the Cowboys to start things off here. And Michelle, I'll come to you first. This will be your first opportunity to go to Cowboys camp in just about a month's time as the Cowboys try to make something of 2024. What is the thing you're looking forward to most as we head out to Oxnard?
I think, going into this offseason, Jerry Jones's words right before the draft was, they're, quote, all in. And then this offseason has been the Cowboys in cruise control. They really haven't done much in terms of big signings joining the team. They haven't done much in terms of signing the people actually on the team currently. So I think there are a lot of dynamics at play off the field. So I think going into camp, it'll be our first real look at, okay, given the moves or lack thereof this offseason, how is this group actually going to compete on the field where it matters, and especially how are they going to get themselves past the first round of the playoffs in 2024? That's what I'm looking forward to.
Saad,
that's a big ask. What about for you, Saad?
Yeah, you're already out there in California, Saad. Give us an update here.
Well, I think, first of all, the 69-degree weather is great, so no complaints there.
Nice.
But, going to Cowboys training camp, I think, for me, the whole thing with Mike Zimmer and him being the new defensive coordinator, a lot of what Michelle talked about as well, I mean, all that stuff applies, but Micah Parsons is a big part of all of this, just in terms of the contract lingering. Of course, his was kind of in third priority after Dak and CD, but Micah Parsons, how he adjusts to a new scheme, how they choose to use Micah Parsons, and just the whole dynamic of, again, like we've seen with his Twitter activity and stuff, just how all of that kind of plays together. Because outside of the quarterback position, Micah is the most intriguing and best player on the Cowboys, and so everything revolves around that.
So Mike is the kind of key in this, and he made some headlines recently, not for anything necessarily that he said, but because of Malik Hooker saying that he was Micah was the third person that should be paid out of the guys that are left to be paid between Dak, CD, and Micah. Is it par for the course that we're dealing with these kind of arguments again heading into Cowboys camp here?
I mean, to me, the comment, though, that Hooker made that drew my attention even more than power ranking who gets signed and when was the comment that he thought that Micah needed to kind of zip it.
Yeah.
Which
was ironic considering, but...
Well, granted. The thing that was ironic to me was for Micah to be the one to then come back and say, well, you could have just said this to me in person.
Right.
That rang hollow given who Micah has been over the course of his first couple of years here in Dallas. But take your pick, man.
Yeah.
They've all got their relative levels of importance. I think more than anything else, if you don't sign Dak Prescott, you're probably going to end up in a quarterback desert. And then nothing else that you have matters.
What should we expect from this team this year?
I think it is a make or break. And I think when Jerry said all in, I think his definition of all in is everybody being on a contract year and everybody's on high alert for what their future can be. And I think we'll see next spring what, all that kind of results in, because to Mike's point, just about Micah falling third, Micah is also the one with the most, I think, trade value and things like that. What good does having a superstar pass rusher do for the team if you don't have a quarterback, if you don't have this? And I could see that being a situation where all of a sudden Micah could be a guy that's kind of on the trade market and you're using those draft picks to then rebuild the team. So I think there's a lot on the line this season. All this talk that we have about this season, it's really not even about this season. The Cowboys could go 10-6. They can go 17-0. It doesn't matter as long as what happens in January doesn't line up with what Jerry's looking for.
I think a key part there was the fact that for the first time we heard Stephen Jones admit as much, Saad. He said, look, we've done okay in the regular season, but January is where people care about us playing, and that's where we haven't been able to play. CeeDee Lamb is up there in terms of statistical categories across the league in all the ones that matter for wide receivers. And behind him, you need Brandon Cooks to be able to play like Brandon Cooks at his peak. You need Jalen Tolbert to be able to be that legit number 3. And from what we saw at least last year, those are possibilities, but they're not necessarily guarantees. And so you really do need CD. So it's just kind of another layer when you're talking about, okay, what are these pieces and what do we really need? You need all of them. And if you want to have sustained success, you need all of them to stay and produce on the field.
As it relates to whether or not they blow this whole thing up, though, I'm sorry, but I keep coming back to, and I've got to figure out a way to word this delicately. Jerry Jones is the age that he is. I don't know that he's got the time to blow this thing up and start over again.
So, but
He
Well, in
clearly
Jerry's
wants
own
to win a
words-
championship.
Saad, go ahead.
Jerry's own words, to put it delicately, he doesn't have time to have a bad time. So I think that's the best way to put it.
That is, Let's let his words say it because it's a delicate topic. But it's also reality, and I think it impacts where they do go from here. even if they do lose in the first round of the playoffs again in 2024, early 2025, whatever.
Which has been the case for the last 30 years. So
Right. So
you know.
it's not like it's that significant a departure from the norm anyway. I can't see them blowing it up.